One of the most heartbreaking things about making a film like this, there's so many incredible designs. It always feels criminal that you can't use them all. We just didn't have time to fit into a 2-hour movie. Hi, I'm Gareth Edwards, the director of The Creator, and today I'm going to be looking through this lovely book called The Art of the Creator, Designs of Futures Past, limited edition, which is by Insight Editions. The whole design is fantastic. It's very much the James Clyne kind of graphic design that we used across the whole movie. I was incredibly lucky to get James. It looks like we get a whole bunch of concept art. Here's the book itself, The Art of the Creator. Oh wow, this is a graphic novel that I did to get the film greenlit. Essentially, this is the whole third act of the movie, so everyone could understand the ambition of it and that it was all going to be possible. Wow, okay, James Clyne sketchbook. All right, so let's start with the actual art of book. There's a foreword written by some guy called Gareth Edwards. I don't know who that is. I'm sure it's very pretentious. We did this film backwards pretty much. We shot the movie and then basically got still frames. Like for instance, this is a good example of this shot of a boat. And then we would just start to invent like how to do mountains, what the shape of the boat should be. This was a farmer that just shot during a location scout. And this was one of the first ever pieces of artwork to create a simulant from the film. And I think the only brief was make a circular hole through the head, and there's a lot of mech. We found that when we removed the neck, it felt like a mask. It kind of, we had this uncanny valley thing where you rejected it. So we found we had to like leave that neck skin in, and then suddenly you kind of humanize the character a lot. The reference we gave to the animators was like, imagine like the way bunny rabbits react in animation, and like it's like the rotational version of that. We had a whole massive catalog of made up logos. You just had to put small print and logos on things and suddenly they would look like products. Getting like inspiration for robot heads, it was really hard. We tried all sorts of things, and one of the things we did was take insect heads, basically try to make it look like the insect had been designed by the people who designed Sony Walkmans. Like here you go, like a projector. And then we would try to turn it into a character. When you put two eyes on something and they're perfectly the same size eyes, it got very cartoony, and it was hard to make something feel serious. And doing asymmetry often did this, where we would make it just have one eye or shrink one of the eyes on one side or something. Basically, when I ended up writing the third act of the movie, it was very ambitious, and everybody would read it and say, we really like it, but there's no way we can afford to do this. It's like a $300 million film. So essentially what I did was storyboarded the third act of the movie. You know, it's literally a comic book version of the third act. There's a whole section that we had to cut down to reduce the movie. You'll get to see it when you look through this comic book. Then we have James Clyne's sketchbook, and I've not actually seen this, so this will be interesting, see what he's done. James worked on a little bit of Rogue One. He did little bits here and there, and we met for just a coffee or a bit of food or something, and we ended up chatting for 3 hours, and I showed him all the original concept art I had. And then, very embarrassingly, I showed him the last image. I'd actually cut and pasted a bit of his actual artwork for like the final shot of the movie. And he laughed when he saw it, and I was like, "What, it's so funny?" And he was like, "Oh, that's my artwork." And at that point, it felt like, well, I guess you get the job then, right? So here's some lithographs. It's essentially concept art that we did to greenlight the movie. I did about 50 images done by different artists around the world. All of these limited editions, they're all signed by myself and James Clyne, which only took 5,000 hours. This is very beautifully done. I just love all it. I'm a sucker for chevrons. I'm a cheap date. James Clyne always said, just put some chevrons on it and Gareth will love it. So yeah, there you go. And the other amazing thing you get with this limited edition book is this amazing statue. Yeah, so as I was traveling around Thailand, there was one place we went to actually that was a museum, and they had all these beautiful sculptures everywhere, and I just kept looking at every single one going, oh my God, if that was a robot, I would love that in my house. That would have pride of place. And so we ended up doing this, and I think it's fantastic. I am actually gonna steal this and take it home with me, and it's gonna live at my house from now on. The biggest inspiration for films for me growing up was these art of books. You know, this going out into the world now, and hopefully one day go to see a movie somewhere, and you go like, oh, hang on a minute, was that from the Art of Creator? That was one of those designs that we didn't use, that someone else has used, that I think is like one of the highest compliments. So look forward to you guys getting your hands on this. It's available only as part of the limited edition, especially this fella.